Hola a todos. Today we are going to review a reading comprehension passage for CSEC Spanish. It is worth noting that this passage was taken from May-June 2023. Therefore, this is a recent reading comprehension passage, okay? So let us get into the passage. Let's get to the passage. But before we get to the passage, let's read the instructions. Read the following selection carefully. Do not translate the selection, but answer the questions in English. You will be penalized for disregarding these instructions. So as you see, the instructions were placed in capitals so that you could see them clearly, right? So there will be no excuses and you will be penalized. Therefore, it is in your best interest to follow the instructions, okay? So we're going to read the passage and then we're going to proceed to the questions that follow, right? So the passage is entitled The Bandit. Cada año, mi familia y yo nos dirigimos a la costa este, donde pasamos los días nadando en la playa, construyendo castillos de arena y subiendo a los árboles frutales. Recientemente, mi padre leyó en el periódico sobre algunos bandidos en el área donde normalmente nos quedamos. Mi madre no estaba preocupada, asegurándonos de que estaríamos bien. 2 días después de haber llegado a la casa de la costa, mi hermano Paco y yo vimos a un hombre sospechoso, bien vestido, mirando por las ventanas. Valiente como es, Paco le gritó y tomó un palo cercano, listo para atacarlo. El bandido, estupefacto por la amenaza, gritó: No, no, no estoy aquí para robar a tu familia. Estoy buscando a mi abuelo. Al comprender que el hombre no era un bandido, mi hermano decidió escucharlo. Se dio cuenta que de visita, no, vamos a empezar de vuelta. Se dio cuenta que estaba de visita del extranjero y vino a buscar a su abuelo, quien era el antiguo dueño de la propiedad. Mi padre, al escuchar una voz extraña afuera, salió de la casa. Se dio cuenta de que el hombre no era un bandido, sino un pariente suyo. All right. Interesting story. Let's proceed to the questions. Once again, we have another set of instructions. Answer in English the following questions based on the selection you have just read. Use a complete sentence for each response, okay? So you must provide complete sentences. Therefore, you cannot provide 1 or 2 word responses, okay? A. State 2 activities which the narrator enjoyed doing with his family on the annual trip. 3 activities were mentioned, so you only need to mention 2. Nadando en la playa, swimming at the beach. Construyendo castillos de arena, building sandcastles. Y subiendo a los árboles frutales, and climbing fruit trees. Okay? So any 2 of those. 2 activities were building sandcastles and swimming at the beach. B. What did the narrator's father recently read in the newspaper? Recientemente, mi padre leyó en el periódico sobre algunos bandidos en el área donde normalmente nos quedamos. So recently, my father read about some bandits, robbers, thieves, whichever word you prefer, in the newspaper in the area where we normally stay. So he read about some bandits that were at the place they usually stayed. So that would be the answer. C. How did the narrator's mother respond to what the father read? Mi madre no estaba preocupada, asegurándonos de que estaríamos bien. So my mother was not worried, assuring us that we would be fine. Basically, everything would be okay. So she was not worried, so she reassured the family that everyone would be safe. D. Give 2 details about the man that the children saw. Okay. 2 días después de haber llegado a la casa de la costa, mi hermano Paco y yo vimos a un hombre sospechoso bien vestido, mirando por las ventanas. So these are 2 details that they mentioned about the man. They said un hombre sospechoso, suspicious, bien vestido, well dressed. So those would have been the 2 details. He was well dressed, but looked suspicious. What was the man doing? So the last part here would be the answer for that question. What was he doing? Mirando por las ventanas. He was looking through the windows. F. How did Paco react? So let's go back. Valiente como es, Paco le gritó y tomó un palo cercano, listo para atacarlo. So Paco shouted at the man and he took a stick, un palo cercano, a stick that was nearby, ready to attack him. He shouted at the man and took a stick that was nearby to attack him. G. What was the man's response? El bandido, estupefacto por la amenaza, gritó, no estoy aquí para robar a tu familia. So the bandit, estupefacto, means dumbfounded. So he was very surprised by the threat. So he was dumbfounded. H. What explanation did the man give for being there? He said, Estoy buscando a mi abuelo. I am looking for my grandfather. That would be the answer. He said that he was looking for his grandfather. And J. Explain whether you think Paco's initial reaction towards the man was justified. Okay, so this is now an opinionated question. So you have to provide a response based on what you would have read, okay? So, of course, I think his reaction was justified because he needed to take precautions given that there were bandits in the area. Because if we go back to the beginning of the passage, it stated that the father had read about bandits in the area. So it would be smart of Paco to take necessary precautions. So I think that his actions were justified. Yes. So this brings us to the end of this passage. I hope that it was helpful. Muchas gracias por ver como siempre y hasta la próxima.